It has to be really frustrating to be a Dallas Cowboys fan right now. I mean, every year it seems like we see the same thing. They have some elite players, they put up some good numbers, they play really well in stretches, but their season always seems to crash and burn in spectacular fashion in the end. Once again, this season that happened. The Cowboys finished 8-8, despite finishing third in the NFL in pass yards per game, sixth in total offense. This is an exciting offense to watch. And defensively, they weren't terrible. They weren't great either. 19th in total defense. The defense did get worse as the year went along. They allowed 24 points or more in 5 out of their final 6 games. That's why Rob Ryan, their defensive coordinator, has been fired, replaced by Monty Kiffin, longtime NFL defensive coordinator. Probably had his best years coaching defense with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Most recently, he's been helping his son Lane out as a defensive coordinator at USC. Of course, I'm not sure how much he's been helping Lane out, considering the Trojans have had a terrible defense ever since Monty Kiffin has been there. But, you know, Rob Ryan was a respected defensive guy. Monty Kiffin, a respected defensive guy. We'll see how much of an effect that change has. There's also a little shakeup offensively in the coaching staff. Jason Garrett, the head coach, will no longer call plays. That duty being passed to offensive coordinator Bill Callahan. Again, will that make much of a difference? Maybe it will. Seemed to make a difference for the Baltimore Ravens this past year when they fired their offensive coordinator Cam Cameron in Week 13, replaced him with Jim Caldwell. Joe Flacco looked like a different guy with Caldwell calling the plays. I know all Cowboys fans hope that will be the case for Tony Romo this coming season. But I don't know. You know, this feels to me like it's more of a case of the players than the coaches. And as far as the players go, Dallas is stuck. They're stuck with the roster they have. They're in a bad salary cap situation. The Cowboys going to be nearly $20 million over the salary cap, and they're going to have to get under the cap by March 12th. That means they have about a month to make some really tough personnel decisions. It's not a matter of which big-name players Dallas is going to bring in this offseason. It's a matter of which high-paid players they are going to lose. And believe me, there's going to be some high-profile salary cap casualties in Dallas because, like I said, they have to shed nearly $18 million from their payroll over the next month. Now they have the 18th pick in the first round this year, so while they'll be able to get some talent there, no doubt about it, it's not going to be blue-chip top 10 type talent. So roster-wise, Dallas, they are what they are. They have what they have. And if you're the person who believes that they're on the right track and Tony Romo in this offense, they keep knocking on the door, and one of these years they're going to walk right through that door, then you're probably happy with the situation in Dallas, and you think that maybe with Bill Callahan calling plays now instead of Jason Garrett, some things might be different. Maybe Callahan will focus more on the running game, which was lacking in Dallas. The Cowboys 31st in the NFL in rush yards per game this past year. Of course, most of that had to do with DeMarco Murray's injury. Still, maybe a new guy calling the plays revitalizes the running game, taking some pressure off of Tony Romo. But what it boils down to here to me is the Cowboys' best offensive players, Tony Romo and Dez Bryant, while they're really good at times, they're unreliable. They're unreliable guys. Maybe I'm being a little harsh on Dez Bryant. He is still a young, up-and-coming player, had the best year of his career this past season, really emerged as a top 10, top 15 wide receiver. But certainly Romo now, I mean, we've seen enough of this guy. At some point, you are what you are. Yeah, he can make some throws. He is really exciting. A Brett Favre type, certainly a gunslinger. It's just, it seems to sort of all work out poorly for Romo in the end. It just unravels and all goes wrong for Romo at some point. This last season ended with just a stomach-turning interception from Tony Romo. But you know what? It wasn't much worse than the hold he dropped with the extra point attempt in the playoff game against Seattle a few years ago, or any of the other turnovers or head-scratching plays that Tony Romo has made throughout his career in big-time, game-deciding situations. And it's happened time and again with Tony Romo, happened again last year. Maybe it'll just stop happening. Maybe a light will go on with Romo. Maybe it'll be the change in play caller. Again, Bill Callahan now calling the plays. Who knows? If you're a Cowboys fan, I'm sure you're hoping that'll happen. As of now, I'm a little skeptical. I'm a little pessimistic in terms of the Dallas Cowboys' future. And I wasn't one of those guys. Just a year ago, I was one of those guys who said people need to back off of Tony Romo. You know, people are acting like he's part of the problem when he's, in fact, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and the Cowboys should be happy to have him. You know what? After another year of watching Tony Romo and these Dallas Cowboys, I don't know. I'm starting to waver on that. I now think that Tony Romo is fool's gold. He's a guy who looks really good at times and does enough to convince some people decision makers and fans of the team thinking that, and convince them into thinking that, hey, he is the guy and he is an elite quarterback, the guy that we should build around, when in fact, maybe Romo does just enough wrong in the wrong times. Maybe he's the exact guy you do not want in there. Does just enough good so you can't get rid of him, but he consistently disappoints you year after year. Right now, that's pretty much where I'm at on Tony Romo, but we'll see. He's going to have another year to prove himself. As we said, the Cowboys roster is going to look very similar this next year to what it did last year. There is a shakeup in coaching staffs. We'll see if that'll make a difference. We'll see if this coming year will finally be the year that Dallas is able to break through and become a legitimate championship contender.